Hey, this is Don from Padlock Technologies again. Got another question. You guys are sending them in hot and heavy. But this one is the question was, should I use, and this is for IoT devices, right? Should I use different SSIDs for different device types, or should I use one, right? Right now, they're using, PSK to get users on networks and stuff, wireless networks and stuff like that. And they kind of segmented it out by having different SSIDs with different PSKs. So let's talk about this. The short story or short answer to this is you should be using one SSID with different PSKs, because the more SSIDs you add, the more signal issues you're going to run into. From a management perspective or administrative overhead, you got to rotate those PSKs, which can be a pain. And then if one PSK gets compromised, it compromises the entire SSID for that device group. So what's the solution to this? Well, Cisco has this thing, and this is an ICE question, called Identity PSK. So let's talk about it. So we got, and for short, it's called IPSK, for Identity PSK. So what is Identity PSK? Well, Identity PSK will allow you to have one SSID, right? Broadcast out. That's my broadcast lines. Let me put squiggles in here so it looks like signals, right? Now, this is going to be the IoT PSK, right? For IoT devices. So you can have printers, scanners, I don't know, pumps, cameras, whatever. Right? Now, what this will allow you to do is have a different PSK for each device type. So this is 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now, obviously, you need ICE to be able to do this. But what will happen is everybody joins the same SSID, whatever .iot, whatever /IoT, whatever. I usually have SSID and function, so it's like, let's say, Padlock Technologies. So my SSID would be Padlock Tech _ IoT, right? From a name and convention standpoint. And what they're going to do is they're all going to connect to that SSID, but they're going to have different PSKs. And now that reduces the whole issue with, hey, if I have multiple SSIDs, I have to manage those. We have an RF signaling problem that could be an issue. And because we're using different PSKs, if the PSK for cameras was compromised, let's say compromised, all I have to do is go into ICE and change it. All right. It doesn't compromise pumps. So pumps, scanners, printers are still safe. This one just got jacked up. Somebody, got the PSK and wanted to jump on the network. Now, what you should do, if you really want to be super secure here, is you want to put SGTs on top of this, right? This is where TrustSec comes in. All right. So even if something did get compromised, you could do some type of enforcement that limits what they're allowed to get to, or you can call a ACL in the WLC and limit that access as well. SGTs are a little bit better, and TrustSec's a little bit better, but it's more, you got to get things ready to go before you just implement TrustSec, because a lot of people they get fascinated with TrustSec and like, oh, we need to implement that, and they really didn't think of their network or design their network to have TrustSec be a smooth transition. So that's first problem first. Design comes before configuration. Always remember that. But the SSID, back to this, IPSK, obviously you need ICE on the back end up here, and that ties into a WLC that actually has the SSID. Then they're going to, as I said before, each device type, you're going to have, this is all controlled with the authorization profiles. So I want to say off Z profiles, right? And then these device types could be individual LPs, because this is what you're going to really do. Well, no, actually, these have to be static endpoint groups. We tried to do it before with profiling. Doesn't work. Why? Because it's a chicken before the egg, right? You need to be able to profile to get access, but you can't get access unless you're already in a profile. So just don't even do profiles here. Just use static endpoint groups, right? So that means you're going to have to manage MAC addresses. That's the downfall of this. You're going to have to manage MAC addresses because they're going to need to be in the static endpoint group before you can push this profile. But once you get this set up, pretty rocking and rolling, you just need to have a decommission process, in your company. Hey, we just decommissioned this printer. We need to go into ICE. Give me the MAC address. I need to take it out of this group. That's really all you're going to be doing, right? Once you set this up. So hopefully that answers your question of should you use multiple SSIDs? No. Should you use multiple SSIDs with multiple PSKs? No. If you have ICE, just use identity PSK. Makes your life totally easier. You can just have one SSID, different PSKs based on the device types, and then you can manage it from there. From a security standpoint, if one of them gets compromised, the other devices don't get compromised because they're using a different PSK value. The only thing I would say is rotate the keys if you want that type of security, or make sure PSK 1, 2, 3, and 4 aren't similar, because you have people out here that will guess that's what they do. They guess encryption keys and all that good stuff. They're good at guessing PSKs. So if as long as you make the right PSK, and I know since these are IoT devices, if this was a human element in this, I know PSKs are a pain in the butt because if you make it too long, it's too complicated for humans to remember. But these are like devices. So as long as you put them in the devices, you're pretty much good to go. They don't have to remember anything. So hopefully that answers your question. Keep sending them to me. Don't forget to share, like, comment, and subscribe. This is Don from Polytech Technologies. Thank you and have a nice day.